Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host, Shae the Red, feeling extra red today. A little bit of a headache, but I think I'm gonna be okay. And I am here with the unbelievably astounding talent, Mr. Graham Nolan. How are you, sir?
Well, good evening, Shae. It's nice to be on your show.
I am so happy to have you. I was so excited when I was able to actually connect with you because I saw all of the stuff for Chenoo a while back, and I was like, dude, this is my kind of like abominable snowman kind of look. Like, I love the grayscale with bright red for the blood. It's one of my favorites.
Nice.
And I was so stoked when Dan was like, yeah, you should totally go on Shae's channel. I was like, oh, yes, please. Yes, please. So I am so happy that you're here. And for those who don't know, we are here because Graham did just like a small little thing, like not a big deal or anything, called Chenoo that is, super awesome and gnarly and amazing. And before we let him give his pitch, he has such a good video. We're playing the video first. So everybody buckle up.
Good evening. Tonight's big story centers on the state of emergency declared this morning in Buffalo.
Between 4,000 and 5,000 cars said to be abandoned on city streets.
Buffalo is still very much a city under siege.
Space's wind whips the snow into 30-foot drifts.
Niagara Falls Air Base, one of their...
Low tonight, 10 below zero. Get off the streets and highways as soon as possible.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That video was done by Nick Grosh.
Yeah,
yeah,
very well done. I gotta say, the steps in the snow that like crunch in the snow just makes my stomach turn because I know what's stepping in it, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it.
Yeah. The colder it gets, the crunchier it gets.
Yeah, it's very unsettling for sure, but I love this, the aesthetic that you have going for it, the way that you've kind of done. I'm a huge sucker for people who do grayscale with spot color. Like, I feel like it's such a sleek look, and when it's done well, it's done so well. And when you're doing a horror thing, doing it with the red blood, like, perfect.
it just screamed out to me to eschew color and go with black and white with the spot color on this thing. One of the problems with a lot of comics today is that they're so overly rendered and overly colored that there's no sense of depth anymore. Everything flattens out when you do that. Everything is modeled, so everything's, there's no separations of form. Right. And what I wanted to avoid was that, and I wanted this horror tale to have that kind of like you said, visceral feel, like a black and white film,
And I definitely think that you achieve that very, very well. I'm also, so everybody who watches this channel frequently knows that I love horror, I love action. And I'm a huge sucker for like the old Humphrey Bogart movies and stuff. So black and white.
Nice.
Like
Fargo.
Yes. So black and white, just like it has such like a special place in my heart when it's done well. I've seen it where it's done and it's kind of tricky, where, when they don't really do grayscale and it's literally just black, white, you can lose so much detail in a lot of that. So I love that you went with this kind of more gray, kind of painted, kind of loose look with it. I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So for anyone who doesn't know, what is the Chenoo?
Well, the Chenoo is the story of a creature from Native American lore. The Chenoo was once a human, once was a man who scarred his soul, usually through cannibalism. And so he turned into this ice creature, and the Chenoo hunts men to devour their hearts in a vain attempt to reclaim the warmth that he will no longer ever have. And so, I was driving along the lakefront one time because I live just outside of Buffalo, and I saw the lake was frozen and there was a storm coming in, and I was like, wow, that is really, really dark and eerie looking, and that would be a great location for a horror tale. So I pulled into a coffee shop and I wrote it in an afternoon, because it was just all the pieces came together. And I got on my laptop and I did some research because I needed a monster for it. And I had an idea what I wanted. I wanted to see if there was anything like that existed. And that's when I discovered this Native American myth called the Chenoo. So I kind of adopted it. I changed some things for my own story needs and made this the story of this creature that came off the ice in 1977 during the big blizzard that hit Buffalo. It's a 1 in 500 year storm, and so it's today, and another storm is coming, and the Chenoo ends up coming off the ice again to feed, and he traps a group of people in a house. So it becomes a story of people under siege as they're stuck in this house as the snow is piling up, and if you don't know, in the blizzard of 77 in Buffalo, the snow piled up so high you had to walk out your second story windows and you'd be walking by telephone poles. The tops of telephone poles. That's how high the snow was. And so this is that same kind of storm coming in. So you can't leave the house. And if you tried to, you got this creature out there trying to eat you. So, so it's a survival tale, and it's very claustrophobic feeling, which I think is really cool.
Well, and when you're talking, so I'm military, I move around a lot, and I'm originally from Utah. So I'm used to real heavy winters and big snow and all that kind of stuff. I currently live in Maryland, where people, if it rains like sprinkles, everyone's losing their minds and driving like complete jackasses, thinking that it's the end of the world.
Right.
The thing that I can say is, when you have, especially if you're out in like the mountains or the wilderness and you have a big snowstorm come in, there is nothing more terrifying, because it is so quiet.
Yes.
And it is so dark, and like the slightest little anything, like the wind cuts through the window and you're like, what the hell was that? Like, it's coming through. It's insane.
The snow muffles all the sounds, there's no animal sounds. There's nothing going on outside because everybody's hunkered down, except the wind. That's the only sound you hear is in a blizzard, is the sound of the wind.
And it cuts through everything so differently than when there isn't, 10 feet of snow around you. And it's that claustrophobic feeling that is real. If you've ever been snowed in anywhere, you get claustrophobic real quick, because you try to look out the windows and you see just snow, and it's like, oh gosh, I might die here. Like, this might be it. You could have like the next window could be totally clear, but that window that's covered, you're like, I'm gonna die. Like this, I'm dead. So Death Metal Hero wants to know, is it kind of like a Wendigo?
Somewhat. It's from a different tribe, so it's a different myth, but it shares similarities. The Wendigo is a spiritual creature, if I'm not mistaken, when I did my reference searching, whereas the Chenoo was once a man.
Oh, okay. I really like that that you kind of went with Chenoo as well, because of that whole, like, I'm going to eat the heart of man, because that people like to equate a heart and a soul together. And so it's like, if you used to be a man and you've lost that, what better way for you to try and grab back your soul but to eat hearts? Because you can't like, it's a really it's a way to put it, it's like a childlike understanding
Mhm.
of what it means.
Right.
Because the soul obviously transcends the body.
Sure. And at this point, it's just a base need,
Mhm.
for this creature. It doesn't think like a man in the rational sense in any way. It's more animal than it is man, but
Mhm.
it's still cunning too, because he manages to shut the power off to force people out of the house. So
Well, and that's kind
he's
of
a
coming down
tricky
to
little devil.
survival for him, though, isn't it?
What's that?
It kind of comes down to survival for him, though, doesn't it? Because I need food. Food's in
Mhm.
there. If I cut this, thing, regardless of whether I remember what it is or not, if I can cut that, that puts them at a disadvantage, and they'll eventually have to come out,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
they'll freeze to death. And
Right.
I can wait for them to freeze to death and break in because they can't keep me out at that point.
Right. Well, there's
Um,
a reason he can't go in the house either, but I
oh,
don't want to reveal that. It'll be part of the mythology.
interesting, interesting. So, gosh, this is so cool. Scrolling back up past the amazing Bane art. You've got quite a few stretch goals that have already been opened up, and you're really close to another one, right? You had your next one's at 50,000.
Yes. Yeah. At 50,000, that main cover will be foil stamped. So what I'm looking to do
Ooh,
is like do the blood as like a foil stamp on it, so that it has like this 3D feel to it,
oh,
splattering out. That
heck
one, yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and maybe the logo too. We'll do the logo and the foil stamp as
I
well.
was gonna say the logo and then the big blood splatter that's up front would
Yeah.
be
Yeah, I think that's the
perfect.
way to go.
And it's just enough of a I really like asymmetry. You know what I mean? Like it's pleasing to the eye when it's not overdone. And
Hmm.
I think that doing it where you have that top logo and then you have the blood splatter, it's just asymmetrical enough.
Right, right. And there's a good amount of negative space too to draw your eye to
Yeah,
where I want it to go.
absolutely. Oh my goodness. This is so neat. I can't believe you wrote this in an afternoon. Like I've been trying to write a short story for like a year and a half.
I wrote the concept in the
Okay. I feel a little
yeah.
better
I mean,
now.
I broke down the basic pitch for it and everything, uh, and the story structure, but I still had a lot of things I still had to work out. I had to create characters that were going to be interesting to hole up in the house. I had to come up with reasons for certain things, So yeah, there was
Mhm.
still a lot to do.
Gosh, I don't know. It's such a neat concept though. I really, really like it. So you've got a couple of really cool tiers, and I think that let's go over your tiers and then we'll go over your stretch goals.
Sure.
All right. So your featured tier is the 200 Ultimate Nolan Collection. What is all of that?
So you'll get the Chenoo book, but you'll also get my hardcover versions of Monster Island and Return to Monster Island, which were both 96-page hardcover books. And then the third book is Black Book, The Art of Graham Nolan, which is 112 pages, again hardcover, and it's artwork spanning my 37-year career, and most of it's shot actually from the original art. So it's like the ultimate Nolan monster collection.
Why'd you got to do that to me? Because I already backed, and now I'm gonna have to refund and reback because I really want that. There's only 2 left.
There's only 2 left. Yeah,
Oh,
those
okay.
went up yesterday, and they went out quick.
Of course they did. I mean, that's a fucking steal. That's insane.
Yeah, and
Like,
all the books are signed too, by the way.
okay. I can't. Damn it! I can't do it while we're on. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We got a sticker. There's a sticker. Ah, so you got a sticker pack. So
Yeah, everybody gets a sticker when they order a copy of the Chenoo,
uh-huh.
but people wanted extras, so I created a sticker pack so that they could add it on or just order it separately.
Oh, that's awesome. I kind of want to get those and just randomly put them in people's like books or at their desks and see if they find it and swear.
I love that sticker. I mean, if I didn't fund this thing back at my original funding number, I was going to make that damn sticker anyway because I wanted one. I thought it was so cool.
Like for real, that sticker that's like my worst nightmare. Like I hate windows at night when you look outside, especially in a snowstorm, because the snow will catch whatever light, but then everything else is so pitch black. I can't stand it. I have such a fear of the dark. That is my biggest fear, is to like look out and be like, oh good hell, there's a monster out there that's gonna kill me.
I really can't go out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I'm gonna sit here under a blanket and pretend that that's gonna protect me. All right, for $10, I can buy you a beer.
Read that one.
So maybe you aren't into comics or horror, but you think Graham is a swell guy and you want to support the campaign. Then buy him a beer because God knows he needs one. Oh, that's so true. The included items are support. You get to support Mr. Graham Nolan, which is a fantastic worthy cause. Let's be real. You want,
and I'll drink that beer too. So don't you worry about that. Are you gonna
do a stream where you just drink all the beers that people have purchased for you? Because that right now that's 20. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's 20. That'd be a rough stream.
And do a couple of streams. This is beers 1 through 5.
Yeah.
All right. $25. Signed comic book and a sticker.
Right. That's the main cover. It says 48 pages, but we hit a stretch goal, so there's now eight more pages of story added. I'm going to do a 8-page tale of the Chenoo in 1977.
Ooh.
And I can tell you right now, the ending is terrifying and heartbreaking at the same time.
Man.
I showed it to my wife. She's like, "You're not going to do that, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Yes. It's exactly what I'm going to do. What do you mean?
Now that I've seen your reaction, yes.
It's so mean.
It's perfect.
All right. And then
but it's a horror comic. Yes, I can. That's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right. I like love hate. It just feels when you have that moment where it just like rips your heart out, you're just like, but that's so unfair and so not cool. And if it ended any other way, I wouldn't have liked it as much. So
right. Yeah.
Totally get it. And then you have this badass variant cover, which I also adore.
Yeah, that one, that a lot of people like that one. Greg Wright colored that for me. He did a really great job.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that I got both the books at some point. Okay, so you have the signed comic book level 2 for $50.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this one different?
Well, that one you have the poster.
Awesome.
You get the poster and you get the sticker. The book is signed. Like I said, all the books will be signed.
That is awesome. I really like that. And then $100. You get
on the inside front cover. There's going to be a little a white square above the indicia, and that will be where I would do remarks. So there'll be like a little drawing of the Chenoo in there, hand drawn. Plus, you get the poster and the sticker and the signed book. But then you get a Chenoo drawing inside the book.
Oh, I love that. And I gotta be honest. Gotta be honest right now, Graham.
Okay.
He looks very cute.
He does look cute there.
He looks so adorable. He gave him the chibi glistening eyes. Like I feel like I want to be like, oh, you're big and scary. I know.
he's misunderstood.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just go give him a big hug. I'm sure he won't rip your heart out of your chest. Totally fine. All right, and then you have retail level 1.
Yeah, I did 2 retail levels because I wanted to support local comic book shops and give them an opportunity to get the books in their shops. So that's what those were for.
Very cool. So 1 gets you 5 and 2 gets you 10.
Right.
Cool.
The more you order, there's a higher discount on that for them.
Yeah. Ooh, for $200, you can hold Mr. Graham hostage via Skype for an hour.
Yeah, it's the happy hour, so I could drink one of those beers, and the other person can have whatever their beverage of choice is,
Very nice.
and we could chit chat like we're sitting in a pub.
That's awesome.
Since
Is
there's
this just the conversation, or does this come with the book too?
It doesn't say that it comes with a book.
It doesn't. Hence the question.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't.
Bummer.
But whenever you check out, you can always do an add-on. You can add on the book.
Very true. And then we've got original art level 2.
That's from 1989, I think.
Oh,
That
wow.
is, there was a magazine called Amazing Heroes, and they every year did a swimsuit issue. And so in that year, I was working on Power of the Atom, so my contribution was the Atom and his girlfriend. So that's what that is.
I like that. I really do. Because I saw this when I was scrolling down through your art with like Wayne and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is adorable, because she's just like, yep, it's him. It's my guy.
He's a shorty, but I like him.
It's okay. He's a grower. And then we have original art at the $1,000 level.
Yeah.
So that one comes with the what original art? Hold on, I'm sorry.
That is the original art. Is that piece right there? It's the very first drawing of the Chenoo.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's a marker drawing on like 8.5 by 11 typing paper type thing.
Very nice. And that still comes with the book, the sticker, the poster, and the head sketch.
Right.
So that is a very good deal.
Yeah, I mean, if this ever became a big movie or something like that, and you own the original drawing of the character, that could be pretty cool.
Absolutely. Then we have original art level 4.
Mm-hmm.
So what one is this?
This is a splash page from Detective Comics 713, 1997, inked by Bob McLeod. And it features, I think it's just the second appearance of a villain that Chuck and I created called Gearhead.
Oh.
He's in a metal grinder, and he's getting sucked in, and he's got Batman. He's trying to pull him in with him.
Well, that is horrifying. This is badass, though. I definitely like that. Original art level 5.
That is a original cover for Hawkworld Annual #2. So, I mean, the thing is, by putting up original here, I don't sell my original art. I stopped selling it about 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, you don't have a lot of opportunity to get art from me. But I just don't sell it right now. So I tried to put up some stuff that would appeal to various, fan bases and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good spread. It's a good like variation of stuff for sure. Ooh, Bane, there you go.
Yeah, that's the biggie. That one's marked down. I don't sell Bane art at all. And that's from Bane of the Demon, the Bane of the Demon miniseries that Chuck and I did. So it's Bane done by his creators, 1998. And the bonus is the artwork is inked by the legendary Tom Palmer.
Oh shit!
So you've got Bane, original art by Bane and his creators, and inked by Tom Palmer, and it's all action page too. Bane, When we scroll down a little bit more, you'll see actually big images of this stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're definitely going to spend some time checking that out. And then we had a comic book grab bag that is all sold out, sketch levels that were sold out, and some other original art levels that are sold out. And you sold all your victims.
Yeah, the two victims sold out. In fact, the pages in the first 5 pages, those are our 2 guys.
Oh shit! Wait, hold on. Wait, this guy?
Yeah,
that guy.
Yep.
That poor person. He's smiling though. That's what disturbed me. He has a smile on his face, but he no longer has a body.
Yeah. I thought it made it look even creepier that way.
It definitely does, because it looks like he is blissfully unaware that anything was happening, and then all of a sudden he's just dead.
Exactly right.
All right, so these are the cool artwork that's still left, correct?
Yes.
So this is the Bane. Oh shit. This is really neat. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, cool action page.
Heck yeah.
That one's got Hawkman, Hawk Girl, and some robot dude who I can't remember who he is.
Fair enough.
I mean, it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, you know. Gosh, you've got such great like lines, nice and crisp, and I don't know. It's just like you do amazing composition. This is really, really cool.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
that one sold.
I can see why.
Yeah, that was inked by Klaus Janson too.
Oh wow!
So you get another legendary bat guy there.
Damn, for real. Yeah, I love this one. This one makes me giggle. Especially because here, I swear he's like, it's like he's like trying to be like, babe, look at how strong I am. And it's like, yeah, and you're not at all just sitting in the palm of my hand. It's fine. It's just so it's so perfect. Okay, so we have some badass stretch goals that have already been unlocked.
Right.
So, this is okay. Can I just say this is one of my favorite things, and it's a super, super small thing, right?
Right.
But nothing says we give a shit about our customers like having a thank you all for funding this and listing everybody out.
Yeah, that's going to be a regular in my my crowdfunding things. Is once we hit that funding goal, whatever that may be, everybody is going to get listed as a thank you, because I can't do it without you, so you're very important to me, and I want to make sure you're listed in all my books.
That is a huge deal for me. I think that's something that's just it shows that you're in tune with your customers, and that you really are appreciative, because that's a lot. Like, you're already sitting at how many backers are we sitting at? You already have 832. That's a lot of names.
Yeah.
But,
might have to add some pages.
Yeah, I guarantee it's going to. There's no way you're not going to.
Yeah, it might end up having to be like 60 pages now.
But it's just one of those things where it's like I've gotten thanked in a couple of these indie books, either because I've helped them behind the scenes, or I've backed and they wanted to do something similar to what you're doing. And every single time I see something like that, it always just kind of like, oh, I'm always going to treasure this because it's right there. And it makes you feel like you matter.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, that's the difference between corporate comics and doing this stuff, independent work, is that the relationship between the creator and the backers, the fans, is so much tighter and closer. Mm-hmm. It's more like a convention atmosphere than it is the business atmosphere that corporate comics have. There's two other levels of distance between the fan and the creator. You've got your publisher, your distributor, and your retailer. You know? Whereas with this stuff, it's me and you. We're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to produce something which I think you're really going to like, and you're going to put your trust in me and back it, and it's just a really, really wonderful paradigm change in how we do business these days, and how we connect with our fans.
Well, and I think it's really cool to see when we have people who've been working in the industry and people who have, you're a pro. You've been doing this for 35 plus years. This is your bread and butter.
Right.
But seeing you kind of come over to this indie scene and not come over with a "you're all lucky to have me," but come over and be like, "Hey, I just want to be where the cool kids are, and I just want to hang out with all the rest of you, and like maybe you're gonna like my book, and that'd be really, really cool."
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of genuine, endearing attitude is something that just makes me so happy, because I feel like the amount of people here that bust their ass to try and make sure that they're putting out a good product and that it gets to the right kinds of people. And, you have people who are staking their entire livelihood on this kind of stuff. You have people like, I've got 2 jobs. We've got people who are sitting here doing 4 or 5 jobs, and still streaming and still trying to draw and ink and color and everything in their own book. And being able to see all these people kind of come together and be like, dude, I'm right here with you. I'm one of you. I get it. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you that come out here. It just really, it makes you feel like, you know what, that some parts of the mainstream have really gone to shit, but maybe all of it hasn't. And maybe there's still a lot of really good people that just want to make good comics and want to make good stories.
Mm-hmm. But all those people you talked about, we all have one thing in common. We're all chasing our dream. We all love this art form, and we're all trying to make it happen for ourselves. Now, whether you've never been published by the big guys, or like me, have spent my entire career with them, I'm almost more indignant about corporate comics, because they tried to kill my dream, because it's all I ever wanted to do was do comics when I was a kid. And all of a sudden comics became so toxic and so terrible that I was losing my passion for it. It became just, like digging a ditch, working for these guys. And then I rediscovered it when I decided, well, screw this. I'm going to rekindle that flame in my heart and do the kind of stories I want to do, because I know there's a market for them. I know people will want to see and read these various different kinds of tales that I want to tell that might not, fit into a certain corporate or publishing schedule or
narrative,
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean they're not great stories. So that's why I'm putting where my money and where my mouth is, and I'm going all in. And I restarted my Compass Comics publishing company, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got another project lined up after this one that I'm anxious to do, and I got one after that too.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is, it's so good to see. And I really love, because you could stay and you could spit out, the same like Bane art and stuff that you've done for years. You could just sit and spit that out until you're done drawing altogether. And you would probably have absolutely no issue making your living and continuing on, but you want to tell your stories. And you want to tell your stories that you've probably been sitting on for years and years and years, and have been constantly told, not yet, it's not the right time, the market isn't right, whatever the situation is, whatever it is they want to say, because they want to keep their specific bread and butter going. And anytime you launch a new story, that's a big risk. That is a new uncharted territory, and it could be a complete failure. And these DC, Marvel, all of these bigger companies, they're corporations. So they have to do risk versus reward. And taking a risk on even someone who's very well known if it's a completely unknown IP. And there's not, it's a horror IP. Nobody's cheering for Chenoo. Like how many issues of this can you get out before people are going to be like, yeah, Chenoo's just going to kill everybody in the comic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're looking at it as longevity wise, it can't have 200-300 issues in it.
No, and that's what was getting at, was that I'm telling standalone stories, not series. There's no follow-up to Chenoo. The story is the story, just like there's no follow-up to Casablanca. You know,
right?
How it ends is how it ends, and I think certain things lend itself to ongoing stories, and sometimes you need to just let it go and say, this is it, enjoy it. Don't try to explain the shit out of it.
Exactly.
Let the magic stay there. And those are the kind of stories I want to tell with my Compass comics. Is I might do some that have some episodic aspects to it, but I'm not going to be locked into that. My next one is again another one shot.
See, and I love that. Like personally, I love books that I can collect and make sure that I've got a series and look forward to it. But especially when we're talking the indie scene, it's kind of hard because there's so much time in between these books, because it's people self-publishing and they're doing it in their spare time, or they're doing it as they can, and without having a big production company behind you, it takes a very long time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of really for a lot of these one-offs where maybe you have a universe and things can be tied into the same universe, but your stories specifically are going to be kind of, this is this story and then this is this story, and they're all in the same universe, but they're not crossing for a while.
Right. Right. In fact, I'm going to have mention to, I did a series for IDW called Joe Frankenstein, and that story took place in Buffalo as well. And I'm going to have my characters mention the characters from Joe Frankenstein.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm going to see if I can't tie in Monster Island to it too, and create my own sort of Nolan monsterverse.
That's see, and I really like that. I think that's really interesting. I also like it from a writer creator perspective, but that's because I have the worst memory in the world, and so I can write a Bible that is going to try and help keep my shit straight, but unless I have time to read it front to back every time I sit down to write, I'm going to fuck something up, because I just, short term to long term for me is really difficult. But one-off stories, I can handle a one-off story and get through that pretty okay. And so the fact that we have a seasoned professional here and he's like, yeah, they're going to be, for the most part, they're going to be one shots. I might eventually have a couple that'll have a couple series, but they're not looking to be 200 or 300 issues of Chenoo. It's going to be, this is Chenoo. It's a story. It's an experience. It's contained. It's all in its own little bubble. And that's what you're getting.
Well, here's the other thing too. The reality is that, when you do a whole continuity thing, let's say 5 issues, 10 issues, whatever it may be, you start off with a lot of piss and vinegar, but by the time you get to issue 11, you're thinking about other things. You're wanting to move on. By doing a direct one shot, knowing the beginning, the middle, and end, your energy level and your enthusiasm is at 11 the entire time. And I think it's going to show in the work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't have time to get bored of your own voice, essentially, because it's like public speaking. Anyone who's ever had to go and do public speaking, if you have a topic where people start requesting that you come and talk about it, your first 2 or 3 times that you do it, it's pretty solid and pretty stellar. You got the kinks worked out and you get a good flow.
Get the rhythm.
By that 8th or 9th time, you're like, yeah, and this happened and that happened, and it's really rough, and because you're sick of hearing your own voice, you're sick of hearing your own story.
Yeah, sure.
And it's really similar here. Like, you'll have parts that you'll probably be very excited to write and you're getting really, really pumped about, but you're gonna have a lot more of those moments where you're just like, I got to get him from point A to point B. So I'm just trying to get him there.
Right. And so much of the stuff that gets published has so much filler in it too. When Will Eisner was able to get so much heart and passion in 8 pages in his Spirit stories, and that's the kind of thing I'm trying to do here is to keep that passion going for 48 pages, 64 pages, whatever that may be.
Right.
And tell a really complete story, just like as if you watched a film. And when the end credits roll, you're like, oh man, when you see a good movie and you walk out, you're walking and talking in the lobby. Oh, remember when this happened?
Yeah, exactly.
So awesome. That's what I'm shooting for.
I love that. That really makes me excited for anything else that is going to come out of Compass Comics for sure. Cause I'm like, that's my mentality. That's where I'm sitting. And that's not to discourage anyone who wants to do series. If you want to do series, do the best damn series you can. Yeah. Find a way for you to not lose that spark. But I know personally, I swear I have ADHD. I tried getting tested. They told me I'm good. I don't believe them. I think they're lying to me. But I can't keep my focus and my passion up for that long before I've got 5 other stories that I'm like, yeah, but I really want to tell that one. That one's going to be so good. Mm-hmm. And once you start, it's like cheating on somebody. Like once you start thinking of that other person, the one that you're with isn't as good. Yeah. Grass is greener on the other side kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm really happy that you're doing the supporters. 20K, you got the trading card. And I love what you've done with this trading card.
And we talked a little behind the scenes about the trading card, but I'll tell the folks out there that I modeled the trading card after baseball cards. So on the back side of it, it lists stats. The Chenoo, in the blizzard of 77, killed such and such, maimed such and such, and then it goes on and lists all these different blizzard years. And then we get to 1994 and I have an asterisk because that was a strike year. So baseball fans, I think, are going to get a kick out of that.
I really love that. It's clever. And I love, because you were like, yeah, I did it like a baseball card. And I was like, what stats are you doing for Chenoo? And you're like, like this year he killed this many people. I was like, kill stats. Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
And maim. There's maim stats too.
Oh yeah. Well, because it's sometimes killing isn't
people get away.
You can't win them all. It's kind of like fly balls and all of that. All right, and then 25K was the Chenoo bookmark. Mm-hmm. This bookmark is so wonderfully creepy. I love it.
I know everybody listening loves to read. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here listening to crowdfunding comics. So
right.
You're gonna want this. You're gonna want this bookmark. My wife was like, "Did you make that? Did you make that stretch goal yet? Did you make that stretch goal yet?" Because she really wanted one of these bookmarks.
I love that he's so helpful. Like you said, he is misunderstood. He's like, this is where you left off. By the way, I got a little blood on there. Don't worry about it.
His heart's in the right place. But I'm bummed.
I was gonna say, well, I feel like his heart isn't in the right place, and that's the problem.
It's your heart that's not in the right place.
Oh, see, that's right. There you go.
He took it out,
Yep. That makes sense. So many bad jokes. 30K. The added story for Chenoo and the Blizzard of 77. That. Mm-hmm. How many pages is that?
That's going to be 8 pages.
8 pages. So we got 8 pages going back to 77.
Yep. And like I said, the ending of this thing is terrifying and heartbreaking at the same time.
Oh,
that'll be the one people are talking about, I think.
You're gonna get us. 40K free digital copy of Chenoo. That is also awesome. I love having the digitals available, especially like I said, I'm military. I travel a lot. I go TDY a lot. I'm not bringing all of my comics to read because luggage gets lost, things get damaged.
Sure.
And it's, space is at a premium when you're traveling. So the fact that you're offering free digital now is super exciting for me, because that means that I get to just put it on my Surface and take that with me, and I can do all of my reading and all of my flatting and all of my everything all on the same thing, which is perfect. And then we are less than $1,000 from the main cover enhancements, which are going to be amazing. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, that's the foil stamps on it, so I think it'll be cool.
Hell yeah. So we've got Unhinged, little late to the game, and wants to know what made you want to tell the tale of Chenoo. Just a little recap. I know we talked about it, but we'll just
I got the idea when I was driving along Lake Erie on a winter's day, as a storm was coming in. It wasn't a blizzard; it was just a traditional, normal snowstorm that Buffalo gets. But it was very dark, and the ice, it's icy and cold feeling, and got this industrial setting of Buffalo, and I thought that was just a really great location for a horror tale. And so, I went into the coffee shop, I wrote down my ideas, and then I looked into, what kind of snow creature to use. And I came across a Native American myth about a creature called a Chenoo. And so that's how it came about.
That is awesome. I really love that. And that's kind of how I end up going when I come up with stories and stuff. It's always like an event that'll spark something, and it's like, I have to write it right now. If I don't, I'm going to forget all about it. I did have a question. This is something that we had talked about with the patches. Everybody if I didn't mention this, people would start DMing me and asking me if I was feeling okay. Are you interested in trying to do a stretch goal for patches at some point?
Yeah, I mean, we only got 3 days left. So, I don't know if we're going to hit another stretch goal, but God willing, we will. If all you people on the right-hand side of the screen decide you're going to go back to Chenoo, we will. And then we'll have to add some patches.
I'm just saying, guys. Shae needs her patches.
Yeah, help the girl out, man. She needs
right.
Her patches.
Look, I got mauled in the face. Like, it's been a rough Tuesday. Yeah. Can a girl get some patches? That's all I'm asking. Yeah, see, there's Jason right there. Shae and her patches. I know. Look, it wouldn't be me if I didn't ask. So is this is your final 30 days, or are you not extending?
I already extended it.
Okay, so this is
extended it 15 extra days past the 30, so that it hits that sweet spot of 40 to 45 days.
Ooh.
Statistically, those are the ones that do the best. Yeah, and again, it's about energy.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up when you got 60 days of a campaign. It's a lot of work, because
it is.
I'm doing all the marketing and all of that stuff. So I'm on every day, booking shows, sending out direct messages to Facebook fans to avoid the algorithms, because only 2% of anybody on my Facebook page sees my stuff.
Yeah.
I've got people that I actually know, friends of mine, that say, "Oh, when did you start this?" I'm like, "Dude, I've been posting every single day for a month about it," and it never came across their feed.
Mm-hmm.
So to avoid that, or to circumvent that, I've been trying to direct message people on Facebook. So, it's time consuming, but it's worth it, because a lot of people are like, "Hey, I didn't even know about this. Thanks for letting me know."
Well, and I think the important thing is it shows that you're that dedicated to it, where you're paying attention. A lot of people think, especially people that are brand new to this, they think that you create a page, you put it up, you post about it a couple of times on social media. That's it.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, if it's good, it'll sell itself. And I'm telling you right now, that is complete horseshit. If you aren't there pushing it, and if you aren't there pushing it the right way, like people have tried where they just spam their link over and over again. What that does is that makes everybody mute you. They get tired of hearing about it. They don't see you. They don't see why they should care about your project, and so they just mute you and they move on, and you don't get the eyes that you need.
Right, right. It becomes white noise to them. Did we lose you? Well, I guess this is my show now.
Only I would boot myself from my own channel.
I just said it's my show now.
I just straight over to you. Seriously, I put my hand down and I hit, I don't even know what button. I got a hotkeys on the side. I'm staying away from that side of my keyboard. I don't know.
It's funny.
It booted me. Well, hello everybody. I am back.
You know my co-host Shae?
Right. Hi, how are you? It's had a slight accident, no problem.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I like how thank you guys. Thank you for the love and support. You guys are ridiculous. Leggy has a question for us. He says, is the Chenoo a killable character? Or do you have to wait him out?
Well, I guess we'll find out on page 48, won't we?
Oh, snap. You don't get to know. Stop asking for spoilers. Graham is not going to be tricked.
It's not my first rodeo. You're not going to get me.
Oh, that's great. Klondike Pete wants to know, have you had any backlash over Indiegogo and CG?
Backlash over Indiegogo? No. What kind of backlash would there be for using? You mean over Kickstarter?
Probably. So there's a little bit of an Indiegogo Kickstarter feud.
Oh. I know there's people that won't cross platforms because I've had people tell me, nah, it's too bad it's on Indiegogo because I'm a Kickstarter guy. I'm like, what do you care what platform it is? If it's a good product, why wouldn't you just back it? I don't understand that. As far as Comicsgate, no, I haven't had any backlash over that. I've had nothing but welcoming responses from people to know that I think like they do as far as how I feel about corporate comics.
Oh, good. Yeah, so that's what Wolverine and Gothic Art are both saying, is because Indiegogo is where CG tends to operate. So
right.
usually, yeah, once you say, well, I'm going to Indiegogo, people instantly go, oh, so that means that you're CG. So that must mean that you are, I don't know, whatever they call people in CG.
I'm not a person that likes labels, and I didn't label myself as CG, but people tended to assume I was, specifically after I did the Expendables Go to Hell with Richard Meyer and Chuck Dixon and Sylvester Stallone. People just assumed I was. So when I started pushing the Chenoo, I sent it out to fellow artists and stuff like that. And one particular guy who I've known for 30 years says, I won't share this, because I just, I can't support Comicsgate. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't support? I'm just, why do you say I'm Comicsgate? He says, well, because you worked with Richard Meyer and on the Expendables. I said, that was a work for hire deal, But it got to the point where he just really opened my eyes to the fact that these liberals don't give a shit. They're too busy doing their virtue signaling and pushing their own agendas that they won't even help out a fellow artist with a good product. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, well then, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to start hedging or trying to make peace with these people. It's like, it's all out war. It's obviously they don't give a shit. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to embrace my natural inclinations and just say, fine, okay. You think I'm Comicsgate? Well, then, yeah, okay, I am.
Yep, and really, I kind of agree with Unhinged. It's a mindset about making sure that you are putting out a quality product and you're giving a shit about your customer, you're not constantly talking down to them, you're not telling them what they must think or feel, and you're making sure that if there's a problem, because there's always going to be some problem, no matter how prepared or how seasoned you are, something will go wrong.
Absolutely.
When it happens, how do you handle that? That is what matters.
Right.
And everything else is really just people talking the same way that they do in any kind of group when you get a bunch of people together about, oh, well, if you don't do this, then you're not. Once we hit those levels, that's when I'm out. And I'm like, I support indie creators. I support good products. I support good customer service. And I support people that aren't going to tell me what it is that I need to believe.
Exactly.
That is what I care about.
Right. I used somebody, Klondike Pizzas, liberal is probably the wrong word. Maybe so, but I find that most of the people that are so virulent against Comicsgate fall under that banner.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be liberal people that embrace that type of customer service and doing great stuff and not preaching, and God bless them, but the ones that don't, and the ones that tend to be lean more to the left.
Yeah, and it's really, it doesn't matter so much where your political leanings are. It matters how you conduct yourself.
Sure,
and
that's true in life.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't? I've got a lot of friends of mine that are on the far left. A lot of people I've worked with, editors that I've worked with that are wonderful people. Jenny O'Neill, Mike Gold, just fantastic people. We couldn't be further apart politically. But because we disagree on things doesn't mean we don't like each other. And I think in any kind of business, if you don't focus on your customer, then your business is doomed to fail.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think that's something that has really, really been just kind of hammered to death recently, is when we had so many of these pros, when customers were crying out and saying, what have you done to my favorite comic book characters? You're destroying a legacy. Like, this isn't, why would this character ever do what you just wrote? And they'd say, I don't work for you. Oh, well, if I don't matter, but I'm your audience, I'll show you how much I matter, because when my money goes away and when everyone else who agrees with me's money goes away, you are out of a job.
And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. It's either you're out of a job because they realized that the second that happened and you took that stance, they started hemorrhaging money, so they cut you as a liability and they replaced you with somebody that wasn't going to be one, or that you're out of a job because an entire customer base drove a company under by refusing to pay them anymore. Like, it's one of two. You can go down with the ship, or they can throw you overboard. But one way or another, you're not going to come out on top if all you do is shit on the people that are the entire reason you even have a job.
Right.
And I think a lot of people in the entertainment industry forget that, because we prop people up like they're gods. We prop a lot of these creators, these comic book legends, these actors and actresses, these musicians, and we pretend that they're gods. And then they believe it. They believe their own lie.
Oh, yeah.
And once they get that in their head and they say, well, this is what matters, then they turn on the people who brought them up to that level. And I feel like it's a very humbling experience when they remember why they had to give a shit about the customers in the first place.
Yeah. And it's the trick when you create a product for anybody, particularly something that's story based, is that you want to give them what they want, but you want to give it to them in a way they don't realize they want it. So that's the whole part of entertaining. If you gave your readers everything they wanted, there's no surprise for them. So you have to understand who they are, what they're looking for, and then give it to them in a way they're not expecting it to get it. That's what creates the surprise and interest in your product and in your story.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
then if you say you're going to do something, then you damn well better do it. You know,
Absolutely.
one of the things I've been doing is I update my backers at least every week, sometimes twice a week if I've got something fun or cool to say or to tell them or show them. But they're the first ones to know everything. You know, when I finish a page, I go, hey, you guys got to check this out, you know, and I'll send it to them. And I promise them that I'm going to keep them up to date every single week and let them know, okay, here's what I got done this week. You know, I got 5 pages penciled, 4 pages inked. You know, I worked on, the other day I had a post about assets because I had to create assets for the story. Because I have something that takes place in a coffee shop and I can't use their logo. So I created a faux logo for it. So that's an asset. And so I posted what that was going to be. And then, to keep them in the loop so that they know that this stuff is progressing. I've seen so many campaigns where I look at when the last update was and it's months. These people have given their money to you. And I've given my money to tons of different campaigns that I've completely forgot about, that I've never gotten it from. I'm just surprised when the mail shows up someday. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen with this. They're going to be in on it every single week, and they're going to know where we are in the process, and the printing, and the production, and everything.
Well, and that's the difference between somebody who cares and somebody who is in this for the money. If you're in this business, in any of this, if you're in comics, if you're in the YouTube game, any of like the Twitch streamers that are streaming video games, if you're in it for the money, it's gonna be a rough life, because it takes so long before you can actually get to that point where you're pulling in enough money that you can live on it and it's great. And yeah, some people are breakout hits and they get real lucky, but if those people who get real lucky decided that they were going to be shitbags, that is a one-off deal now. Congratulations. If you don't take care of your people and your customers and you don't keep them in the loop and treat them with respect, you have nothing to sell. Like, you'll have all of this product, you'll have no one to sell it to. Yeah. You gotta protect them just as much as you have to protect your IP.
Yeah.
I get passionate about this stuff. It drives me nuts when I see people that just don't seem to get it.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I have that tell me that I'm just brainwashed by the patriarchy and that's my problem. I was like, yeah, that's it. It's not that you're a terrible person.
Right. Yeah, right.
At all. Drives me nuts. We had a question back here that I missed, and I want to make sure I just was priding myself on how I don't miss questions, and I missed a question. Where'd it go? Why?
Oh,
it was
says Dixon, Ethan, Maitland, Kelsey, Nolan. They're all over here now.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got all of them, because you can only be shit on for so long,
Yeah, and the corporate guys, that's how they treat the talent. They chew you up and spit you out, and they hide. I understand that everything has a shelf life, but there should be loyalty too. The DC that I worked for so many years was loyal, because I remember when Jim Aparo was at the end of his career, and we were coming up on the big Batman 500, and we knew this was in the 90s, so we knew the royalties on this thing was going to be probably well over $100,000 for this, to pad his retirement. And they were going to give the story to the incoming art team and switch them over at Batman 500. And everybody was like, no, no, Jim does that story, you know, because he's earned it. And, you know, that just doesn't exist anymore.
No, it really doesn't. They like to make sure that everybody knows that they're replaceable. And
Well, they replaced Jack Kirby, so it can happen to anybody. So
the dumbest thing
you got to
on the
remind
face of the
yourself.
planet. I did find the question. So Leg Kick said, "What Indian tribe is the Chenoo from? Do you remember?"
It was a northeastern tribe in New England, in the New England area. I can't remember what the name of the tribe was. I was trying to tie it into the Seneca tribe because the Senecas are in Western New York here, but there wasn't anything for that. So in my story, it might just be Seneca. Because it's my world and I can do what I want.
Exactly. Exactly. CG World Order, you should have a wrench now. I'm hoping. Let me know if you didn't. Yeah, I really love what you're doing here, and I love just you as a person, what you're doing, and your mentality about this entire indie scene.
Thank you.
Because it's really easy for somebody who has a name and who has some clout behind them and who has characters like Bane, like you did Bane, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It would be easy for you to come around and just be like, yeah, you all should be happy I'm here and buy my shit because I'm awesome. And that's that. And
Well,
that's
I do believe they should buy my shit because I am.
I agree. But you actually give a shit about what everybody here is trying to do.
I do.
And you want to be a part of it. And that's amazing. That makes me so happy to see.
Yeah. I think it's a wonderful scene. As I said, that publishing paradigm, that for so many years you needed permission from Marvel and DC to consider yourself a professional. Because if you didn't work for them, you didn't collect a paycheck. You didn't get to work on Batman or Superman or X-Men or whatever. And so you weren't really a professional, you know. But in the 80s, maybe you could get in on some of the indie black and white, stuff, Eclipse and Pacifico and all these other startups that started, but still they didn't catch on. And so you still had to seek their permission to work in comics. And under their monolithic distribution system too. And now, you know, we're cutting out so much of the fat. We're telling the stories we want to tell, and we're getting it right to the people that really want to hear it. Those really hardcore fans that are tired of just having crap, you know, shoved in front of them, you know, crap sandwiches, right. And say, okay, eat it. You've eaten it long enough. You know, I put a little salt on it for you.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly. So I wanted to give you a little update. You've gotten at least 3 backers since we started, which makes me super excited. There you are. So we're $541 away from that next stretch goal.
Right.
Are you staying in demand or are you closing completely? Okay.
No, it'll go into demand.
Okay. Good. I still really want this, but okay. I'm going to think about it and hope that it doesn't get bought out from underneath me when I finally decide that I'm going to do it. You know, you try to save, you try so hard, and then people like you come along with good books, and I throw money at them, and then I wonder why I eat ramen every night.
Yeah, but if you're eating ramen while reading a really great story,
but
that's better than eating a fillet with a shitty story.
You make a good point. One hell of a salesman, let me just say that. So D Oots says Chenoo is in. I'm not even gonna try it.
An Algonquin legend.
Algonquin. Okay.
Valkyrie and love native tales. Oh, very cool.
Very cool, dude.
Algonquin, huh? Well, thank you for doing a little research for me, D. I'd forgotten what tribe it was.
Thank you, Pastmaster, for retyping it at me. That doesn't help me pronounce it. But I appreciate you very much, dude. He also says congratulations to Graham. That is, I wholeheartedly agree.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
You definitely, you seem like a phenomenal individual. I am super happy that I was able to get you on. And thank you, Dan. I appreciate the breaking it down for me. That is Algonquin. I can say it now. See, it's because that's how I can say it now.
Algonquin.
That's perfect. See, you got to break it down like I'm 5, okay? But yeah, I'm so happy that I was able to get you on and talk with you. You are a phenomenal person. You've got an awesome book.
I really do appreciate that. It's so great to talk to you and get to meet you as well.
Yeah, and thank you guys in the chat. You guys are always just such great guys hanging out. I gotta love my chat. You guys are getting me so close to monetization. You guys have been sharing out Red Valkyrie and everything. I'm gonna do my obligatory, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie, especially if you've enjoyed this. Share this out. We've got 3 days left. At a minimum, we better hit that 50,000 because damn it, I want that really badass cover. Okay. And if we can manage, if you guys know, like investors, if somebody wants to buy one of those original art pieces, and maybe we can do another 5 and convince Graham to do patches.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's got to be some whales out there, the art collecting whales that will see that stuff and say, I gotta have that.
You gotta know someone who has too much money and would love some original art pieces. And then you help a girl out, you help Luke out, we get some cool patches. I was telling Graham before that there's one of 2 things, either the Chenoo logo because it's badass, or meat, it's what's for dinner because it's hilarious. So
but do you remember the beef campaign?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I absolutely do.
I looked up the campaign and I found that, and I duplicated all the fonts to create that. Yeah, because it was beef, it's what's for dinner. So I changed it to meat, it's what's for dinner, and I used the exact same fonts and everything that the ad agency used.
Yes, I agree. See, Luke agrees. Luke wants patches. See?
Need patches.
I'm just saying. He wants both of the patches. I don't blame him. I do too. You know what? Worst case scenario, maybe I can convince Graham to add it as an add-on or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Right. I've got a couple other ideas for add-ons too that I've been kicking around.
There's all kinds of great stuff. And since it's going to be a demand, Shae has some time to get her shitty other job and make more money so she can back again and get cool add-ons. Yes, I get patches like Fraga's pouches. That is accurate. Very much so. Wolverine said he imagines either that slogan or the incredible edible egg, which was going around at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so do I. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm a kid again. You guys are amazing. I love all of you in the chat. Everyone who's going to watch this on replay, you guys are phenomenal people. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go back Chenoo. Do it right now. You have 3 days for us to hit, at a minimum, that last stretch goal.
We can do this. We can do this.
Or, be super great and do way more, and it'll, we'll get patches for everybody. It'll be awesome, guys.
Patches for you. Patches for you. Patches for you.
Everybody gets the patch. Leggy, thank you so much for backing. You are amazing. El Rolo, again, awesome people. I love you guys. You guys are so great.
Awesome.
thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. You guys just roll. So we will catch you next time. Thank you so much, Graham. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Shae, and thanks for the great makeup too. That was awesome.
You know, I tried just a little something different today.
Even nailed the knit hat too. Beautiful.
I did. The sad thing is I didn't have to look far for this. I just own a lot of these. So just went in the closet, went that one.
That's fantastic.
All right, we will catch you guys next time on Red Valkyrie. Until then, we'll, stay awesome, stay amazing. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, everybody.